Okay, good afternoon and happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back to our remote writing workshop. We had a question from a viewer about cover and interior art from one of our followers. So we wanted to tackle just how the art and the design process works in publishing. So thank you, Justin, for the suggestion. Just a brief disclaimer, everybody. We are going to be skipping next week's remote writing workshop. I am going on vacation. Much needed. It's been a very long time since I've taken one. And so I'm also going to give Erin a break. And so we will be following up the week after next. All right, let's get started. First, let's talk about the two categories that are involved when designing a book. What are they, Erin?
Well, when you want to, let's break down the art of a book. So you have the interior design of the pages themselves, and then you have the cover art. And of course, if you're talking about a hardcover book, you have what we call the jacket that goes around, back, front, and then the flaps. And if it's just a paperback, you have the front and back cover. So the interior page design includes all major elements that are going to be in the book. You have running heads, which is at the top of the page is the title, author name. You have, of course, the font that's used throughout. You have a different design for the chapter titles, the chapter numbers. And then you, of course, you have to think about the design of any tables or charts, headings, subheadings, boxes, bullet lists, spacing, images. So this is really important, especially for nonfiction books, because you have a lot of those different elements many times, especially if you want to engage the reader. You really want to think about those visuals and how you can use that to make the reading experience even better by using this interior design. So really that encompasses all design elements, small to big. And then of course, cover art is the image on the front cover of a book. Or, you know, if it's a hardcover jacket, sometimes they'll put some images on the back. And this also includes the text layout of things such as on the cover, author name, title, subtitle, and, you know, for instance, if you have an endorsement on there as well. So all of that layout.
Awesome. Just very quickly, if you guys hear a lot of wind in the background, it's very windy where I'm filming in Canada right now. So just please disregard. Okay, when does the work on the interior and cover art begin, and what is the standard process for each?
Well, work on both the cover art and interior design usually starts when the manuscript is in its initial stages of editing. So when it's basically still a Word document, so pretty early in the process. So for cover art, this is when the book editor and other members of the publishing team, they meet and they brief the art department on the book. And this is also when the author and the designer can begin brainstorming cover ideas. And in the initial publishing house meeting, the internal one, this is when the team discusses the content of the book, the tone, the genre. So everyone's on the same page. Then the art director or designer, depending on their title, will contact the author again, and they'll have their own brainstorming session about vision and goals. So this is when the author is kind of, or not kind of, but is involved in the process, and they'll give feedback and kind of talk about what they imagine. And then the art director or designer is going to create several different cover options. And usually they're going to be different enough that it's going to give you a solid choice about which direction you want to go in. And first, these options are going to be reviewed by the publishing team in-house. And then they're going to be sent to the author for final selection and to kind of, if there needs to be any back and forth, to make any tweaks. So that's the process for cover art. Now for interior design, the designer is going to review again the genre, the tone, the content of the book, and the editor is going to give input as well because the editor is very close to the book. And then the designer is going to come up with a sample page design, send it to the author for their review and approval. Now, designers are so fantastic at this. Usually, you know, they come up with something great. So it's kind of rare for an author to just see it and go, oh, this is horrible. You know, sometimes they can say, oh, make a few tweaks, but usually a designer worth their salt is really good at having a sense of how to do a layout. And so it's usually a wonderful sample that they're offering up in the first place, but an author can have input on that as well. So once the interior page design is approved by the author, the manuscript is poured, and that means the Word document is transferred into a design program. So all the pages can be laid out according to this approved interior design.
Beautiful. Okay, the $1,000,000 question. How
Yeah.
much does an author have to say over the cover and interior art?
Well, it depends. So if you're at a traditional house and you're not like Stephen King, Malcolm Gladwell, James Patterson, then you as the author, you're gonna be able to approve the cover design, but the publishing house ultimately has the final say. So they're gonna be very nice about it, and they're gonna persuade you in a very, way that you might not even realize you're being persuaded, but they ultimately have the final say about it. Now with hybrid publishing, like at Greenleaf, the author is going to have more input in the cover and design. So you're getting the best of both worlds. So the author has the expertise of professional designers and of course also sales, marketing team members who really know what works and what doesn't in your genre and in the marketplace. With straight self-publishing, the author is in complete control of the cover art. However, the downside is that although the cover image might be exactly what you want as the author, that might be the exact opposite of what works in the marketplace for your genre and could really, really affect sales in a negative way.
Definitely. It's so interesting to hear, especially when we do book review and submission discovery. We have our sales and distribution and our marketing team's input because things are changing so frequently in the marketplace, and distributors have decided, sometimes covers or colors or things that are just not selling, and they will omit any books because if they have these certain qualities that they're not looking for in a cover design, because despite what our mothers have always told us, we do judge books by their covers.
Right. And an author can have zero idea that the color yellow is incredibly offensive to all readers of mysteries, that everyone's just discovered this.
Right.
And an author has no idea, but people who are professionals in the industry keep on top of all this and they know what works and what doesn't.
Right. So it's definitely worth having, working with a team who knows what they're doing, but then also making sure that you have some creative control within the process.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay, so that brings us to the next bit of our viewer questions. So sometimes cover art doesn't appropriately reflect the content of the book. How does this happen, and how does an author avoid this issue, Erin?
Yeah, this is kind of what brought up this topic, because he was asking about, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, kind of the image actually reflecting in detail the content of the book. And this can be a tough one for authors because many times what they want and what will ultimately work for the book in terms of sales and reaching readers might be completely different. So a designer's job is not only make a beautiful cover that reflects the content of the book, but even more importantly, design a cover that will sell your book. So if a cover reflects the content of the book exactly, but won't appeal to readers or sell the book, then no one will ever get to experience that content of the book anyway. So there's really no point at all. So at every publishing house I've worked at in over 2 decades in the business, there are so many authors that have come into the process with fully designed cover ideas. And inevitably, we have to break the news to them that the art and design, it's usually not usable. And there are myriad reasons for this. Sometimes it just looks unprofessional. And also the design or art is not going to work in your genre. Something that might look good for a mystery might not work for historical fiction, vice versa. And it doesn't match what else is out there, meaning your ideal reader won't be drawn to it or might think it's another type of book that they don't want to read. The design will not sell the book. So you might like, and I mean, that's the other reason, is that the design you've chosen won't sell the book. So you might like I've actually seen this happen, the oil painting that your best friend produced of your main character. And it might feature all of the details down to the signature cufflinks. But if it looks amateurish, or it's not going to sell, or it's not going to attract your reader, it doesn't matter if your character or plot is represented exactly in that image on the cover. So your publishing team knows what sells and what doesn't, so listen to them. They're not just telling you these things because they enjoy shooting down amazing artwork. They have nothing to gain from that. So the most important thing to remember is that the goal of the cover is not to most accurately represent the content of the book. It's to sell the book, to grab the attention of and reach your desired reader. Now, I'm not saying at all that the cover should be an inaccurate representation of the book or show a falsehood. But accuracy and detail is not the purpose of the cover art. It's to catch the eye of the reader and engage them so they're going to pick up and buy the book. That's the idea. That's the end goal. So don't get so distracted by the accuracy, details, and the minutia of cover art reflecting your content that you forget what the cover is supposed to do, which is sell the book. And if the art is unappealing, unprofessional, or doesn't work for your genre or your reader, it doesn't matter if you love it as the author or if it accurately reflects the content, it will not sell the book. And that's what the cover is supposed to do. There you go.
Awesome. Awesome explanation, because I think there's so many questions surrounding, original artwork and if it works, and to note that, there might be artwork that is extremely well done, but just isn't right for book cover design. And it's such a different ball game with selling a book. There are so many different avenues, and there are so many different things that not a lot of authors know. And so that's what sometimes gets self-publishing into a little bit of trouble, is because there's so many of these, I want to call them hurdles, but not exact hurdles, but there are just so many kind of regulations that you have to be mindful of when it comes to both interior and cover design, because it is hugely important for both the sales and the marketing aspects of the book. Because sometimes if a book has a certain cover, the advertising sometimes isn't allowed on Amazon. They are very strict with certain advertising guidelines. So it's just super important to have a team who knows the ins and outs of the publishing industry, knows what sells, has a great relationship with distributors and buyers, so that we can tell you and we can inform you, what's hot in the marketplace right now, what's selling, what's not, and, just have you informed so that, you don't get yourself into these kinds of situations.
Yeah, because if a buyer looks at a cover and goes, oh, that's hideous, it's never even going to get to the reader. They're not going to want it.
Exactly.
And so yeah, you have to think of that too. So just remember that your designers, your publishers, they're on the side of the book and selling it, and they want what's best for you. And also, a lot of this time, you can use your original artwork, use it on the book splash page, use it on the website. You can use it in other places. You don't have to just throw it away and be done with it. It just might not be, as you said, right for the cover.
Social media promotion too. Everybody is talking about how social media, it's better to be more personable on there, to be more personal, to have more, a more authentic presence. So that is definitely something you can use. Don't just omit it because, it's not right for the cover art. Save it for some promotion, and but definitely, check in with your marketing team to see if this is something that you can work on, and they will definitely give you some great ideas as well.
Yeah, or you can also, as we've said before, poll your audience. If you are self-publishing or you're kind of doing it on your own, put it up and say, get some feedback. What do you think of this?
And I know one of our authors, I think a few of our authors actually, when they were deciding on the cover of the book, our team gave a few of, our options, and they polled them on Instagram and said, what are you guys feeling? Like, what do you think is best for the book? What are you guys responding to most? And they actually had their audience help them pick the cover of the book and made it very personable and special.
Yes, it's perfect.
Awesome. Okay, so what is our weekly assignment, Erin?
I think this is a fun one. Hop on Amazon and browse. So look at the best sellers in each category in the different genres and really kind of take a look. Keep an eye just for cover art. How are the covers similar? How are they different? Why do you think each works well for specific titles and genres? Are there any best-selling titles whose covers you think are terrible? If so, why? What about any whose covers are simply amazing? Which are your favorites? So make a list of titles within your specific genre whose covers you would like to emulate. So really just get on Amazon, take a look, and see what's working, see what you like, and see what's out there, just with a specific eye on cover design.
Definitely. Great assignment. And I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. Drop a comment below and tell us, what are some great covers that you guys just simply find amazing. And I would love to see them. We love when you guys engage with our videos and comment on our videos. So definitely tell us, what covers do you love? And, after using this weekly assignment, what did you find? Definitely leave us a comment and let us know. So like I said, we will be returning the week after next. We're going to take a brief hiatus next week because I will be spending some time with family here in Canada. And then Erin will be catching up on her such busy workload of editing and making all the books just absolutely perfect. So as usual, you guys, this video came from a follower. He DM'd us and said, I would really love if you guys covered this. It would be amazing. So we are open to your ideas. Let us know what you're thinking for these videos. We are here to help you. The writing process is such an amazing time to be in, but it can be a little bit overwhelming. So if there is a topic that we haven't covered yet, or that you really want to know more about, just drop us a DM, send us a tweet, comment on this video, and we are happy to help. But we will see you guys next time, the week after next week. Okay, bye guys.